Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're diving into the world of infantry fighting vehicles, or IFVs. If you look at the European market right now, one name instantly jumps to the top of the list and is widely considered the undisputed king of the hill, the CV90 from Sweden. This vehicle is battle-tested, combat-proven, and basically every NATO country wants it in their arsenal. But that brings us to a fascinating question, and it's the core of what we're exploring today. If Europe already has this legendary, highly capable IFV, why would a country like Poland spend massive amounts of money and years of R&D to build their own brand new IFV, the Borsuk, from scratch? Why didn't they just take the easy route and buy the CV90 like their neighbors? Today, we're going to find out. In the matchup between the battle-hardened king, the CV90, and the game-changing newcomer, the Borsuk, which one is truly built for the battlefields of the future? Before we go toe-to-toe on the specs, I want to take you behind the scenes and look at the core philosophies behind these two machines, because every weapon system on Earth is designed to solve a very specific problem. Let's start with the CV90. This vehicle was born out of the Swedish military doctrine during the Cold War. They wanted a rugged vehicle that could survive a hail of enemy fire and, above all else, protect the infantry inside. That philosophy means the CV90 was designed with an open architecture to accept virtually unlimited add-on armor. As time has passed and new variants have rolled out, it's only gotten thicker and heavier. From a vehicle that weighed in the 20-ton range in its early days, the latest CV90 Mk IV now pushes the scales at around 38 tons. That heavy weight buys you top-tier battlefield survivability. It shrugs off landmines and anti-tank rockets, acting like a mini main battle tank that safely delivers troops right to the front line. Now let's pivot over to Poland. We all know Poland is on a massive military shopping spree right now, buying up tanks and weapons from all over the globe to build Europe's strongest land army. But when it came to their infantry fighting vehicles, they chose to build the Borsuk themselves. The answer to why is hidden right in Poland's geography. If you look at a map, eastern Poland, the border closest to potential conflict, is packed with rivers, canals, lakes, and wetlands. The Polish military knows that in a real war, bridges are the first things to get blown up. So the IFV they need can't afford to sit around waiting for combat engineers to build a pontoon bridge. It needs to be able to swim across those rivers immediately on its own. This is a massive hurdle that the modern 40-ton CV90 simply cannot clear. Poland had to build the Borsuk as a true amphibious vehicle. It's engineered to be light, around 28 tons, so it can float and propel itself through the water. This is a massive difference in design philosophy. One prioritizes heavy armor to punch through enemy lines, while the other prioritizes agility and overcoming natural obstacles. When we talk about weight and armor, we have to talk about trade-offs. In the world of armored vehicle design, you can't cheat physics. You simply cannot have a heavily armored fortress that stops everything but is also light enough to float. It's impossible. So the Borsuk had to sacrifice some of its base armor compared to the CV90 to keep its weight amphibious friendly. But Poland is smart. They didn't build a paper tank. They utilized advanced hull shaping and modern composite materials, so the Borsuk can still stop heavy machine gun fire and artillery shrapnel, fully meeting NATO standards. Meanwhile, because the CV90 doesn't care about swimming, BAE Systems can load it up with heavy ceramic armor and active protection systems. If we simulate a scenario where you have to drive straight through heavy artillery fire, the troops inside the CV90 are going to feel a lot safer. But if the mission requires flanking an enemy across a river system, the Borsuk is going to cross that water and hit them from behind, while the CV90 is stuck idling on the riverbank. Next up, let's talk about the fun stuff, firepower. Even though the Borsuk is lighter, it definitely punches above its weight. Its ace in the hole is the state-of-the-art ZSSW-30 unmanned turret. Because you don't have crew members sitting up inside the turret, you save a ton of space and weight. This turret packs a 30mm Bushmaster 2 autocannon, but the real kicker is the integrated dual-tube Spike LR2 anti-tank guided missile launcher, ready to take out enemy main battle tanks from miles away. Combine that with cutting-edge sensors and optics, and the Borsuk is incredibly lethal and fast on the draw. On the flip side, the CV90 offers a massive variety of weapon choices, ranging from 30mm all the way up to a devastating 40mm Bofors cannon that can absolutely shred enemy armor. But the key difference here is that most CV90s still rely on a manned turret. The advantage, the vehicle commander has better situational awareness and can literally pop out of the hatch to assess the battlefield in a crisis. The downside is that it requires more interior space and adds significant weight. There's an ongoing debate in military circles about which is better, manned or unmanned, but Poland has clearly placed its bets on the unmanned turret paired with highly advanced sensor integration. To give you a clearer picture of how these two stack up, I've put together a quick spec comparison. The pricing I'm showing here is a rough order of magnitude based on past procurement deals, which usually include support packages. Let's take a look at the board. Looking at this table, if we break it down line by line, the different characters of these two vehicles become crystal clear. Starting with troop capacity, the CV90 leans into its heavyweight brawler role, comfortably fitting a squad of 8 infantrymen. The Borsuk, on the other hand, has to strictly manage its space and weight to maintain buoyancy, so it carries 6 troops. Moving on to the powertrain, since the CV90 is hauling around nearly 40 tons, it needs that massive 1,000 horsepower V8 to push it up to 70 kilometers per hour on land. The Borsuk has a smaller 720 horsepower engine, giving it a 65 kilometer per hour land speed, but its headline feature is that 8 kilometer per hour swimming speed, which again is the ultimate cheat code for Eastern European combat. In terms of lethality and defense, the Borsuk comes out of the box ready to brawl. It features those dual Spike LR2 missiles as standard equipment without needing an upgrade, along with top-tier warning sensors. The CV90 leans on its incredibly thick, durable base armor and gives you the option to bolt on an active protection system like Iron Fist if your defense budget allows for it. And when we look at the bottom line, the estimated price tags, you'll notice a pretty significant gap. The CV90 comes in at a premium of roughly $10 million per unit, while the domestically developed Borsuk is much more accessible at around $7 million. That $3 million difference per vehicle is absolutely massive when you're talking about equipping an army with hundreds of them. But you get what you pay for. For $10 million, you are buying peace of mind. You're buying proven, combat-tested armor technology and the highest probability that your soldiers are coming home alive. For $7 million with the Borsuk, you are investing in tactical flexibility, freedom from terrain restrictions, and you are directly supporting your domestic defense industry. For Poland, the ability to manufacture, maintain, and supply spare parts entirely in-house without relying on foreign nations is a level of national security that you simply can't put a price tag on. If we look deeper into the current customer base, the success and trajectory of both platforms become even obvious. The CV90 is essentially the golden child of NATO right now. It has a massive list of operators, including Sweden, Norway, Finland, Switzerland, the Netherlands, Estonia, and Denmark. Recently, the Czech Republic and Slovakia signed major procurement deals for it. On top of that, Ukraine received donated CV90s, where they have performed brilliantly in actual combat, and there are even plans to set up manufacturing facilities inside Ukraine. It has racked up a seriously impressive resume. Cut to the Borsuk, and currently its sole exclusive customer is the Polish Armed Forces. But don't mistake that for a lack of demand. Poland plans to acquire a staggering number of these, upwards of 1,000 units. That domestic order alone will keep their factories running at max capacity for years. Plus, once the Borsuk officially enters service and proves its worth in that terrain, it has a very high chance of becoming the next blockbuster export for the Polish arms industry. But wait, before we declare a winner, there's a massive controversy currently dominating the defense analysis world, the lessons learned from the war in Ukraine. A lot of Western analysts are asking some tough questions right now. Is the doctrine of building amphibious armored vehicles like the Borsuk actually an outdated concept? Because in an era where the sky is filled with $500 FPV kamikaze drones that can strike anywhere, sacrificing heavy armor to save weight for buoyancy might just turn your IFV into a sitting duck in the middle of a river. Meanwhile, the CV90, despite not being able to swim, has proven in Ukraine that its heavy armor can take a beating from FPV drones and artillery, and the crew inside actually walks away. This drama raises a huge question. Is Poland clinging to an old-school tactic, or do they have a trick up their sleeve with their sensor suites to counter the drone threat? This is the ultimate crucible that the Borsuk will have to face to prove itself to the world. To wrap this up, if you're asking which is the best IFV between the CV90 and the Borsuk, the truth is there is no best vehicle in every dimension. There is only the best vehicle for the specific mission and terrain. If you are a commander who has to push through open plains infested with drones and heavy enemy fire, the CV90 is the heavy hitter that will punch you through safely. But if you're commanding forces in Eastern Europe, where every few miles you hit a canal, a river, or deep mud, the Borsuk is the trump card that ensures your advance never stops. The arrival of the Borsuk isn't meant to dethrone the legendary CV90. It was built to answer a question that Sweden never intended to answer. So what do you guys think? After hearing all the analysis, and especially considering the FPV drone controversy, if you were a top general, which side are you taking? The heavy armored survivor, the CV90, or the agile amphibious Borsuk? Sound off in the comments down below. Let's get a debate going. I can't wait to read what you guys have to say. Before you go, please don't forget to hit that like button, share this video, and subscribe to the channel to support what we do. That's all for me today. I'll see you guys in the next video.